All right, let's start here. Allegations of racism have surfaced at Grosvenor Girls High School in KZN. Pupils claim they are being called monkeys. Angry parents have now descended on the school, demanding answers. The Education MEC, Dasen Thathiah, is at the school as well, and eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thathiah is there, and he joins us now live. Dasen, a meeting, of course, trying to find a solution to what's happening at the school with those allegations, but it broke down. Tell me what happened.
Maseko, at the outset, I'll tell you that you know that when we're dealing with issues of racism, it's always sensitive, it's always a heated environment, and these are problems that many South Africans face, and it was no different here. So the MEC, KZN, had come here to understand what the situation was and why it had led to this, the protest that we saw pupils go on last week. So he came in and he met with officials from the school, but the parents who had also gathered here were not happy with that. They felt that they needed to be privy to what was happening inside. So afterwards there was a meeting, a broader meeting that was held where he was giving feedback to the parents and coming up with solutions. Now, I'll give you the context to this. This is not the first time that the school and the education department is dealing with those allegations here. In 2019, MEC Mshengu was also here to deal with allegations of racism, and just 3 years later they are back here. So as a result of that, they said that this time they're going to try something different, they're going to try a different tactic. Let's listen to what they plan to do differently this time around.
We want to delve deeper into these allegations so that we can be able now to deal with these issues once and for all. We then announced that we are going to appoint an independent panel that will deal in detail with the allegations of racism. The issue of financial irregularities, I think that one will be easy to dispense with. But to deal with the issues of racism, we need an independent panel that will go deeper into those issues. We requested the SGP to say, any one of you who has experienced such problems must come forward to the panel and tell the story.
So, Dasen, exactly how did the MEC react to the disruptions today?
Well, he wasn't pleased, Maseko. I'll tell you. In fact, you'll see some of the police officers that are gathered behind him. They were called in along with private security officials to calm the situation down. The matters really escalated. In fact, where I'm standing right now, this area was filled with pupils. He had intended to address them, but that meeting broke down, a second meeting after the one I mentioned to you, when parents interrupted that one also and refused to allow him to speak to those pupils, because what they were saying was they wanted their voices to be heard. What he was saying was that panel that he was talking about needed to start up, and those voices that they have, I mean, you'll see some of these parents and activists that are still sitting around here. He says that they should then put their names forward, speak to the panels, talk about their accounts of alleged racism, talk about what their kids are going through, but this was not the platform for he says and she says. Let's take a listen to how he reacted when people got up and tried to bring this meeting, or rather stop this meeting.
Fortunately, the EFF, true to their nature and character, they believe that disruption is what will make them relevant. What we are not going to allow is to leave the school without talking to learners. We have called the police to remove these people from EFF, all of them. And we are going to remain with the learners and talk to the learners. It's unfortunate that they want to be opportunistic and disrupt the process that we are putting into place as a department. They say I must suspend everyone who's implicated. But I don't have a single name on my hands, or a single name in my hands of a person who's implicated. Learners were saying we are called by the educators and all of those things, monkeys and all of that. So we are saying go to this independent panel, say who is the person who called you this, and all of those things. And once we get this report, we will make sure that we deal with anyone who has been involved in issues of racism.
Dasen, I see it's a little bit, it's still a bit busy there, disruption, of course, continuing. So what's the way forward? Does schooling continue?
Definitely. There is a concern, though, Maseko, because not just at this school. We've seen at other schools where parents come forward and they try to shut down schooling to prove a point and to get certain changes done at the school. So Kwasi Mshengu is familiar with that. He says that under no circumstances will that be allowed here. Just picking up on what happened earlier, he does intend to address the pupils here. That's why the police have gathered around here. They are preparing, I think, to get the pupils out to ensure that it is a safe environment and that there are no disruptions. But he says that there will be a firm stance taken on anyone that is now going to prevent schooling from taking place, such as blocking the gates or walking in and disrupting the classrooms. I think I can see the police now engaging with some of those that are sitting around here, presumably to ask them to move out. They've also locked the gates. Hope you were able to get that into your shot on the side there. To secure this particular area. But while we just establish what's going on here, let's listen to what Kwasi Mshengu had to say, Maseko, about this issue of disrupting schooling.
We're not going to allow anyone to undermine the state, because disrupting a school is undermining the state and challenging the state. We're going to act with the police, as you can see that they are here now, and we're going to have clear plans with the MEC for community safety in the province to say we want any parents who will be seen disrupting the school to be acted upon by the police decisively. And that is the message that we are communicating, because ultimately these learners must be able to perform. They must cover the curriculum. It is these learners who will be sitting at the end of the year for final examination. And the more they lose time because of their parents, it disadvantages them. And as Department of Education, we have a duty to protect these learners. We have even a duty to protect them from their parents. And that is why we said any parents who will dare come and disrupt school, not only this, but all schools in KwaZulu-Natal, will be met with the full might of the state.
All right, Dasen, I wonder if you've been able to establish what's going on there. It looks like it's becoming a bit more political. Does it look like the people who are gathered there will allow the MEC to actually talk to the pupils?
Well, at this point, there seems to be a negotiation here, Maseko, between the police and the EFF members that have gathered outside. Remember, they were also what Kwasi Mshengu was speaking about earlier, saying that they had interrupted that meeting. So right now, police are speaking to those that are still standing around here. They're asking them to move in. That was their purpose. That's why they were called in earlier, just to clear the way, because this message of what is going to happen next is what the MEC needs to be discussing. Fortunately, it seems like those that are here are complying. Someone who appears to be a leader is still talking to some of the police. I'm just going to walk inside Maseko just to see where these people are going to now. So they're being led down into a corridor here, and they're heading. Yeah, they're being led outside. So I think they'll be waiting there. This is in fact where we started this morning. That's where parents were until they had complained that they didn't want to be outside. They wanted to be included in the meeting that had taken place. So it seems that for now the objective has been achieved, Maseko, but we'll also be listening in to when Kwasi Mshengu will be addressing those pupils to see how they will react. Remember, they were at the center of what was going on, and it was them that started this protest last week after those allegations of racism surfaced here at Grosvenor Girls High School.
All right, well, thank you. Let's leave it there. Senior reporter Dasen Thathiah out in Grosvenor for us.